I found them hanging from a dead aspen tree, 3 miles deep into the San Juan wilderness. Bone chimes, dozens of them. Polished white, threaded with sinew, clinking in the wind like a macabre wind chime orchestra. I should have turned back right then, but I didn't. And for the next 48 hours, I would learn exactly what those bone chimes were meant to warn me about. October 14th. I'd been planning this solo backpacking trip through the San Juan Mountains for 6 months. 3 days, 2 nights, just me, my pack, and 37 miles of wilderness between Silverton and Durango. I'm an experienced hiker, 20 years of backcountry camping. I know the rules. Tell someone your route, carry bear spray, respect the wilderness. I did everything right. The trail started easy. Aspen groves painted gold and crimson, boots crunching through fallen leaves, the kind of morning that makes you forget civilization exists. By noon, I'd covered 8 miles. Crisp air, clear skies, that particular silence you only get this deep in the mountains. Around 2 p.m., I decided to take a shortcut, an old mining trail marked on my map, barely visible, cutting straight through a ridge. The main trail looped around it. This trail went directly across. I've taken unmaintained trails before, but this one felt wrong the moment I stepped onto it. The aspens gave way to lodgepole pines, tight, dark, claustrophobic. The sunlight vanished. The temperature dropped 10 degrees, and the silence wasn't peaceful anymore. It was oppressive. No birds, no wind, just my breathing and my footsteps on hard dirt. That's when I saw the tree. A massive dead aspen, stripped of bark, standing alone in a clearing. And hanging from every branch, bone chimes. Dozens, maybe hundreds. And they were moving, even though there was no wind. I stepped closer. The ground around the trunk had been carved into concentric circles. In the center, a fire pit. Recent. The ashes were still warm. My brain tried to rationalize it. An art installation, some hermit's weird project. But my gut knew better. This wasn't art. This was a warning. Or a trap. I took 3 photos and turned to leave. That's when I heard the first whistle. A single, sustained note from somewhere behind me. Human. Deliberate. I froze. Waited a minute. Nothing. I found my compass, oriented myself southwest toward the main trail, and started moving fast. 5 minutes later, another whistle. Closer, from my left. Then another, from my right. They were coordinating, triangulating me. I ran. Branches tearing at my jacket, my pack catching on limbs. The whistles kept pace with me, always just out of sight, always matching my speed. Finally, I burst onto the main trail. Relief hit me, until I looked down. Fresh boot prints, size 12 or 13, deep treads, military-style tactical boots, going the same direction as my campsite, made within the last hour. I had 2 choices: backtrack 8 miles to the trailhead in fading light, or follow the prints toward my campsite. I chose wrong. I followed the prints. I reached the campsite at 6:47 p.m., just as the sun dropped behind the peaks. Standard backcountry site. Fire ring, bear box, empty. The boot prints continued past the campsite, heading deeper into the wilderness. I set up my tent fast, hung my food, and crawled inside. No fire. I didn't want anyone knowing I was there. At 8:23 p.m., I heard footsteps outside my tent. Slow, deliberate, circling me. Something dragged through the dirt. Rope, chain, I couldn't tell. And mixed with the footsteps, I heard bone chimes softly clinking. They circled my tent 3 times, then stopped right at the door. I held my breath. And then I heard a whistle, right outside. So close I could hear the breath behind it. Followed by a voice. Raspy. Wrong. We know you saw the tree. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. Another whistle answered from the tree line. Then another. Then another. At least 4 of them. They stayed until 3 a.m., circling, whistling, sometimes dragging something heavy across the rocks. Once, I swear I heard digging. At 3:17 a.m., the footsteps finally drifted away. I waited until first light, 6:04 a.m., before unzipping the tent. And that's when I saw what they'd done. Bone chimes, hanging from every tree surrounding the campsite. Dozens of them, all facing inward, all arranged around my tent like a circle. A message, or a claim. I packed in 4 minutes. No breakfast, no hesitation, just pure survival instinct. The main trail was 8 miles. 8 miles through forest where they could hide, flank me, trap me. So I chose the ridge. Exposed, rocky, dangerous, but visible. For 3 hours I climbed. Every few minutes, another whistle drifted up from the valley below. They were tracking me, but they weren't climbing after me. They didn't have to. At 11:30 a.m., I reached the summit and saw them. 4 figures standing at the trail exit below, waiting. They'd predicted my route. My only escape was down a steep scree field on the north face. Unstable rock, 45-degree drop. One wrong step and I'd fall hundreds of feet. But it bypassed them and led to a Forest Service road. I took it. I don't remember most of the descent, just the sound of sliding rock and the faint whistles behind me. At 1:47 p.m., I stumbled onto Forest Service Road 578 and saw a ranger truck parked 50 yards away. I collapsed against it. The ranger helped me inside and drove me out. I told him everything. And that's when he told me their story. The bone chime tree has been there at least 15 years. Local legend says it marks the territory of a group of survivalists who vanished into the San Juan wilderness in 2008. Officially missing. Unofficially still out there. Living off the grid, protecting their territory. And anyone who finds the bone tree, anyone who sees too much, gets a single choice. Leave immediately or become part of the collection. 17 hikers have gone missing in that region since 2008. None of them were ever found. I gave the sheriff my photos, my coordinates, my full statement. They told me they'd investigate. That was 3 weeks ago. I haven't heard back. But last night, outside my apartment window, on the 3rd floor, I heard a whistle and the soft clinking of bone chimes in the wind. Fade to black.